This is Ann Cross, and I am so excited today, as I always am, but I really am excited today because I have a very special young lady with me today. I was talking with her maybe a couple of weeks or so ago, and she really shared her life story with me. And most of you know that God has given me this assignment, according to Jeremiah 1 and 10, that He has set me over nations and kingdoms to root out, pull down, destroy, overthrow, to build, and to plant. Yes, there are so many things that we as women have had to deal with in our lives. And God has given me this very special assignment, and I do take it very seriously to root up those things that have been planted in the hearts of women so that God can build and plant His purpose in their lives. And the young lady who is with me today is none other than Quinn Jordan, who happens to be a member of our church at Freedom of Worship Outreach Church. Hi, Quinn. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I am blessed by the best.
Me too.
All right, all right. Quinn, it's always a joy just to talk with you. It's always a joy to be in your presence because you are a very funny person, but you've got a testimony.
Yes,
you've got
ma'am.
a testimony. You've been now at Freedom of Worship now for about how long?
Almost 3 years.
About 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. It just didn't really seem like it has been that long. But I know that it has been a process also. But I can see that you have made good progress. You
Yes.
came to Freedom. You had some things going on, did you not?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you mind telling us what was going on when you came?
Well, when I first came to Freedom, first of all, I moved from Birmingham, Alabama to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-fiance job transferred him here, so I ended up moving here with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in a very abusive relationship. The relationship was abusive before I left Alabama, but I'm thinking the change would make him change.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to Tennessee, it seemed like things got worse. And so I was going out trying to find another job. I'm a 5th grade teacher, and I was trying to find a second job. And so I met this guy, and he looked at my resume, and he told me, oh, I have a friend. He coaches basketball, and let me call him. And so he called Keith Dean, which is my head basketball coach. So I met him. And
Who was also a member of our church.
Yes. And he invited me to the church. So I came to the church, and I enjoyed it. I was getting the word, and I knew that I was living in sin because I was living with my ex-fiance, and we were not married. But I was still going through the abuse, and so I came to Freedom, and the word was working through me, and it was helping me to get strong because I knew how I was living.
Mm-hmm.
I was living wrong. And so the more I came to Freedom, the stronger I got, and it kind of helped me get out of my situation.
Okay. Now, how long had you actually been coming to church when you realized that you really needed to get out of this relationship?
Maybe about four months,
Mm-hmm.
5 months,
Mm-hmm.
about 4 or 5 months.
Now, did he ever come to church with you?
Only once, and he didn't like it. I can tell the way that he was acting. He didn't like it, and he really didn't want me to come to the church, but
Did he tell you that he did not?
his actions, I can tell, like when we left out of the church, his whole disposition, the way he was acting. I'm so used to, I know him,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he was carrying himself, I knew that it was a problem, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bother me because I felt like I had found my home,
Mm-hmm.
and I was determined to stay at Freedom of Worship.
Great, great. Now, you said that he was abusive. In what manner, what way was he abusive?
He
to
was
you?
verbally abusive. He was physically abusive.
So he hit you.
Yes, he cursed me. He hit me. He did all kind of things that a woman shouldn't have to go through.
Mm-hmm. Now, the first time that ever happened, was that the first time that had ever happened to you?
No, going back into my past, before I met my ex-fiance, I was married,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in an abusive marriage. And I was married for about 7 or 8 years. And my husband, he used to beat me also. He beat me because he was in the wrong. If I heard anything about him, if I came to him and asked him about it, he used to get mad, and it was a hit. Mm-hmm. And you know the old saying when they say they got beat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? That's how my life was. It was like in the morning, afternoon, the evening, whenever he felt that by me coming and asking him something, he took it out on me. And I don't know, people ask me, why did I stay? I have no answer to people to tell them why I stayed. I just know that I just thank God that I got out of that, because there have been situations that I could have been killed in that marriage.
Right. Now why do you think that he felt like he had to beat you?
Control. He controlled me.
Did you work at the time?
At that time, we both were going to school.
Okay.
And I was almost done with school, and he wasn't. And what happened during that time, so much happened in my life during that time when I was married. I had got diagnosed with cancer.
Really?
And so I had to withdraw from school and go home, and I had to have emergency surgery. And so during that time, he was still doing the things that he was doing, because I found out he was sleeping with some of my sorority sisters, my friends. And after I had surgery, I had to come back to my house to get some important papers. And my brother brought me there, and when we came to the house, he had a woman in the house. And at that time, I couldn't get upset because I had just had surgery maybe about 3 weeks prior to that. And so I just got the paperwork, and my brother took me back home. And I tried not to think about it, because at that time, the surgery, it was a life-threatening surgery. And so I couldn't get upset about it. And so I went back to my mom's house. My mom nursed me back to health. And then once I got well, I went back. And I tried to make it work. I stayed there regardless, because I did I thought I loved him, and I thought he loved me. So I tried to work through it, but then it seemed like it got worse. Mm. He brought the women to the house. They'll pass by the house. He'll say he's going one place. He'll end up being somewhere else. And then I just finally got to the point where I said I couldn't take it anymore. And so I left. I moved out. And then he ended up going back to Mobile, where he was from. And so I stayed there, and I ended up finishing school, and then I didn't date for a while. It got to the point where I just didn't trust men anymore, and so.
But you know what? Even going through that, okay, you were still in school.
Yes, ma'am.
You were still attending school, and you finished school even in the middle of that.
Yes, ma'am.
That lets me know something about you, is that you are a very determined individual.
Yes. Thank you.
For you to have gone through that and keep your sanity and, go on to school, finish school, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about your character.
Thank you.
And I know, many times as women, sometimes, we have made some stupid choices. My husband, Bishop Cross, now is preaching on a series where it's entitled, Your Way.